Hi guys, and welcome back. Today's devlog brings you some major changes, such as a complete rework of the player script, the finished camera system, and a ton of other smaller things which I have finally managed to do. Firstly, one of the biggest changes I've done over the week was to add GitHub to the project, so that I don't have to copy the entire project and put it into a new folder every time I want to change something. This also freed me up to try some more risky things, because I could just go back to an earlier version, which was the final straw for me to finally rework the player code. There are two main differences between the new and the old code. One being that instead of using two different state machines, one being a main state like air, ground, climbing, and pushing, and the second being a subset of actions, each fitting together to the main state like ground idle, air falling, or climb jumping, the new player script just has one state machine with the states ground, air, climb, and push. The second major change was that I finally managed to compress the gigantic code block of variables, which in between Devlog9 and Devlog8 has actually doubled in size, because I needed to always have the reset values on hand. Now it's just two dictionaries, one holding all the variables, and the other copying the values at the start of the game, meaning that I only need to set up the variables once and it'll automatically adjust the original value dictionary. The rework of the player code also mysteriously deleted all the weird and wacky bugs from last time, even the one from all the way back in Devlog9, where after I would turn the computer off and on again, the jump height would change, and to top it all off now, the player actually climbs when he should do so. After I had completed the monumental task of reworking the player's code, I got back to work on creating the new camera system I had promised last devlog. I firstly wanted to see if anyone else also had the same idea as me, and maybe posted a solution somewhere, so I searched and searched and searched even more, and finally found something. It was a demo tutorial project for this exact camera system using shaders, something magical in itself, but it was the exact thing I needed, so I downloaded it and looked at what I would need to change. The biggest difference was not that this project was made in Godot 4.2, but that the project was actually made for 3D games, meaning I would have to rework it to allow 2D games. I went to work, and as I did that, I realized how little actually had to change to make it work with 2D. The first and easiest thing was to change all the Z-axis related things to use the Y-axis instead, Z being the axis of depth and Y being the axis of height. After that was a roadblock which had me stumped for some time. The code used a function from a 3D camera, which calculates the position of objects inside of a viewport, but this function doesn't exist for a 2D camera. This was a big problem, but after a while I figured out that this code made it all work, where it takes the mouse position, seen from the viewport, adds the camera's position to it, subtracts the viewport's width and height divided by 2, and then from all that subtracts the player's position. Don't ask me how this works, it does somehow. This has been all the progress for this week. Next week I will probably have a test level, and that means I will be testing and testing and testing some more from there on out. I hope you enjoyed watching, and see you next time. And if you want to see how it all started, here's the start of the playlist.